Hi everybody, my name is Peter. I'm a fourth year medical student at Georgetown University, and I'm here to talk a little bit about my AHEC journey. So first I want to talk a little bit about what got me into AHEC and how I really heard about AHEC and how that all started. So I was really fortunate to be introduced to AHEC in my first year of medical school through a program that I'm involved with called the Primary Care Leadership Track. So they have a great relationship with AHEC, and actually do a lot of work at AHEC sites and have really all of their members become AHEC Scholars. And so that's how I first got introduced and really passionate about working with AHEC populations. I had done some work previously with some people experiencing homelessness in the Boston area during college, and really loved my work there, and that's where I really learned first about social determinants of health, and of course throughout my time in medical school have learned a lot more, especially throughout my time in AHEC, and it's something that I've become really passionate about. So I've enjoyed really kind of meshing those two passions of mine, working with those populations and then also just my clinical practice. And so was introduced in that first year and got to do some of the didactic learning and some of the clinical learning, and really loved it, and then actually decided to continue with AHEC, both as an AHEC Scholar, but also by participating in the longitudinal integrated clerkship here at Georgetown. And that's also a program that does a lot of work with AHEC and AHEC sites, and I got to work longitudinally throughout the 6 months that I was in that clerkship with multiple different AHEC sites, and I really loved my experience there, and really just spoke to me about my passion of working with underserved populations, and just AHEC really fit that so well, and I was able to learn so much from my experience with AHEC and AHEC Scholars, both in the didactic and the clinical learning, and just working for such long periods was really cool, and I got to do a lot kind of outside of just clinical learning, and got some special clinical learning opportunities, and really some things that stand out to me as far as most memorable things with AHEC. One of my kind of side clinical learning opportunities that was specifically because this is an AHEC association was I actually got to join Foot Clinic for one day, and so I got to join a provider, an MD that was going and giving care to people who were living on the street, and was able to, I know that Kathy lives on the corner of this street and that street, and we're going to go see her today and see how she's doing because I saw her last week and she had this problem, or I'm going to go see this person's friend, or I heard this person might need help, and just the really cool relationships that this doctor had with his patients, and really the care that he was able to give them and just kind of on his feet and with a backpack was really awesome. And he knew them all by name, and they all knew him. They knew when he came around, and how to seek help, and how to get their friends who might need something involved with him. And it was all very much word of mouth, and just you could really tell that he cared and just cared about this population, and they were so thankful to him. And so that was a really cool kind of experience that stood out to me as far as what AHEC means. And I also think I got to do some volunteering through AHEC, and I was really fortunate to work with a middle school and put on with some other AHEC Scholars a mini med school for a group of sixth graders, and got to kind of design the whole course ourselves and put on a really summer-long, once or twice a week program for them, and just got to teach them about some really topics and bring takeaways for them to, better their lives, and tried to keep it at their level, which was a really interesting challenge for us, while also keeping them engaged, which anyone that knows working with kids isn't always easy. So I really enjoyed kind of being able to work with them and get to bring them some of these topics. We did one on germs, where we brought some fake germs that we're able to spread around the room to see how germs spread, and we were able to teach about what a doctor does, and we did some, Simon Says that was medical themed, and just kind of some fun different activities for the kids, and yoga and things like that. So that was also a really fun experience for me. Other things that I kind of want to talk about as far as really my AHEC journey is that other people looking to get involved with AHEC, I would really suggest it, of course. Something that I've really been fortunate to do over my 4 years of medical school, and would suggest it to anyone that has interest in working or learning about these populations. So I would say, first of all is learn more. Go on the website or ask your medical school, or, see how you can get involved. So I'd say that kind of the first thing is just be proactive, seek out. And then the second thing is just, there's a lot of good that AHEC does, and it's a great way to learn about these populations. So I would say if you have any interest, this is somewhere you can go to be passionate and learn from passionate people, and get to work with really awesome mentors and physicians, and kind of all different groups that serve these populations. And so I would say just being proactive and being excited are really the things that I would suggest to anyone. And it's impacted my own kind of decision making and clinical practice. Of course, I had some interest in this population from my previous volunteering, but hadn't really, understood how I could work that passion into my medical career and my medical training, and what I want to do going forward. So it actually has had some impact on both my chosen specialty, going into primary care, something that I thought of initially, but something that's really just been reaffirmed by my time with AHEC and just the physicians that I've gotten to work with through this program. And just, I think that primary care is so fitting to my own personality and the longitudinal relationships, and just being able to serve underserved populations. So, primary care just as a specialty definitely reaffirmed through AHEC, but also just been shown through my work with AHEC populations that I want to work with those populations and with underserved populations, and just be the change that I want to see. And so I'm actually seeking out residency applications right now, with the end goal of hopefully having work with these populations being part of not only my training but also my work as an attending, whether that's doing part-time with them or working in an FQHC, or doing street medicine. Just so many possibilities, and excited to see where life takes me, and not quite sure yet how that all will pan out, but definitely something that I'm really interested in, and part of my career goals now that I've worked with AHEC. So that's a little about me, and I hope that everyone who sees this gets involved with AHEC. Thanks, everybody.